So, greetings, massives. I am Sean Day Williams. I am currently an MBA student at the University of the West Indies, more particularly the Mona School of Management, Mona School of Business Management. Now, personally, I would realize that there was a gap for videos like these because I've seen online there have been people who have outlined their experiences in MBA programs across the world, Harvard's, the Wharton's, the otherwise. And I realized, well, there's none that gives experience of the University of the West Indies, more particularly MSBM, that doesn't come directly from MSBM. So we don't have a student like this jumping on a camera and saying, well, this has been my experience. So I hope to just, help somebody, because I really would have loved when I was applying. I really searched to find videos of this sort and couldn't find any. So creating or filling the gap, if you might call it that. So yeah, I hope that my review will be transparent as can be, as insightful as can be, and such. So why I chose MSBM, I have a little outline I'm following, so that will help me to stay on task. The reputation, right? Now, something that I've done or did before actually joining the program was to go on LinkedIn and see the people who have done MBAs at MSBM and seeing the jobs that they're in. I've looked at several companies, and one thing I love to do is just look on the qualifications of people, especially if it's a position that I'm interested in, or would just love to know about, like some of the skill sets that would be good to have, or higher level management has. So when I look at many of the Jamaican companies, I realize that many of the top leadership have an MBA. And not only do they have an MBA, many of them would have an MBA from the MSBM, right? So that was one thing to say, all right, probably it makes sense to do an MBA at the Mona School of Business Management, right? Now, for them, they offer a full-time and part-time program. The full-time is for the entire day, and the part-time is mostly in the evenings from like 5:30 to 9 o'clock. Right, so I'm on the part-time program. Now, as it relates to cost of the program, it's 10,000 US dollars for the entire program. I had mistaken that it was 10,000 per semester, like law or something like that, or per year, pardon me. Yeah, but it's not that way. It's for the entire course length of the program. That works out to Jamaican dollars about between 2 million and 3 million, the most it could get to, depending on the exchange rate. Now, for most professionals, this will work because most people, they have their jobs end at between from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And especially if you're on worky time, flexi time, then that might allow you to leave some days earlier than at other times, right? So in terms of flexibility and ability to work with like regular work schedule, most professionals can go or opt for the weekend, or they have the Sunday program as well. The Sunday program works for all day on Sunday. I am a Christian. I go to church on a Sunday, so that definitely would not have worked for me. So I chose the during the week program instead. Now, I love leadership. More particularly, I am very involved in leadership in church, and I hope that by doing this too, leadership in the church is a little bit different from, like leading a business or something like that. But it's still an organization, if you might put it quote unquote. So there are certain skill sets that an organization need that will just add value to, what I bring to the kingdom of God. So that's my main driver, one of the main drivers. And I just love leadership. I think as a Christian, and more particularly, I think I have the gift of administration, or it's developing. So that's that. The application process. No, the application process was straightforward. All you need to do, well, I was a student of UWI before, so I'm used to their application process where I just go, upload my CXC documents, my birth certificate. All of those would have been online from when I was doing undergrad, and I already did a master's in math. So They had all of my information. Even applying for this, I never needed to submit a transcript again because I was a UE student, so they could see everything that I did and whatnot. If you're not a UE student, it's going to be a little bit different because you have to submit all of those things. So your previous qualification, transcripts, the works, right? Now, there was no interview. I know that some people or some MBA programs, they normally have an interview for you to find, like state your purpose. Some of them require a statement of purpose. Some of them require some essay submission. That was not the case for UE. There are some people who require GMAT scores. That's not the case for you. And if it is the case, well, I don't know of that. Right? So, yeah, it's just straightforward. The most you'll need is 2 references. These can be academic individuals. Example, past lecturers that have taught you, a pastor, some respectable persons. JP, yeah, they can be your references. And they'd submit a reference form confidentially to the university and say. Now, as it relates to my first impressions, we had the orientation early in August. Yeah, early in August, very early in August, because school starts for the MBA program in August for first year students, and yeah, every MBA student. Why? The workload or the number of courses for the MBA students are more, and they said that these are like some prerequisite courses, quote unquote, or that's the way I interpreted it, where these are done to ensure that the foundational skill sets for the program are intact. So it takes on the form of graduate maths as well as public speaking. I think there are some other things that we did. Give me 1 second, let me check some. So we did grad maths because you're going to need the math skills. Definitely going to need the math skills. Yeah, foundational math for graduate students, and we did foundational skills for graduate management. So this involved public speaking. No, not a lot. Not heavy on the public speaking, no. But yeah, it involved communication and its roles in business, preparing and delivering presentation, information, making the most of your MBA experience and such. And then the math component was just math. Now for this, they call it the immersion period. And for this immersion period, you go to class on Sunday, whole day. Then you go on Monday, then you go on Tuesday, then you go on Thursday. Yeah, that's something else I didn't say. Class times, if you're on the Sunday, it's from Sunday morning all the way to Sunday evening. If you're on the week program, I gave the times already. Those are 5:30 to 9 o'clock. So, yeah. During the immersion period, you go to class every day of those days I gave you. So Sunday, you reach from 8:30, class ends at 4. Monday 5:30 to 9, Tuesday, Wednesday, and that is all you're learning in this time: math and foundational skills for graduate management. Here they talk about a whole heap of things. Like, let me see if I can find some things and just. So we learned about information literacy. Yeah, I would have said some of these other things already. All right. Citation, APA, that is, some of those are spoken about and enforced and such. Right. Now, that immersion period lasts for all of August, and then at the end of August, an assessment is done for both of those courses. Sometimes there is homework, like for foundational, it wasn't a final test. There were 3 assignments that needed to be submitted, one of them being a group assignment. Yeah. And then after that, I had a personal reflection to do. The math was more or less mostly individual work, where I had an exam at the end, a final exam and a mid-semester exam, and that was it. Yeah. Yeah. So that was the immersion program, and then immediately after the immersion, we started school. Now, yeah. When we started school, we had to do different courses. So we had a math course, which is quant stats. We have now another one, which is strategic human resource management. And then we had a mix of courses that started and ended. Now, they say that for the MBA program, everything just comes at you because they're trying to mimic the real work world and, see how it would be if you're actually a manager. Right? So some other course that we did the art of public speaking. Personally, I love the course. I think I learned that my public speaking needs to be improved. But anyways, the art of public speaking, love the course. I think the course was too short. That's my personal opinion. And the teacher said it himself. Like, I've geeked out on videos on YouTube about, like how to manage, like when somebody's giving you feedback in a press briefing and that type of thing, questioning, answering questions and that type of thing. Yeah. We didn't get to touch that. It was mentioned, but we never get to go in detail. So that would have been the thing about it. Ethics in business. Loved ethics in business, right? Because it talked about there are some things that are not necessarily black and white. And when we are not faced with black and white decisions or problems as managers, and just even in life in general, how do you deal with them? And we talked about the utilitarian, the deontological, the other types of ethical frameworks to, filter a decision through. That was nice. Loved it. Math, I teach math for a living. So math is okay. I'm surviving with math. Strategic HRM, that's going good. A lot of practicality because our lecturer is a practitioner. So he speaks a lot about what happens in practice. Yeah. And that really works well because in addition to the literature that we have to read, we get a way to appreciate how the literature is applied in the real world. Now, as it relates to class, the culture, the classes. So we had for me, I had two different classes. So one, during the immersion, we had a group that we worked with, group mates that we worked with, and then everybody split because everybody during the summer program, whether you are in the week or Sunday only, you have to come, right? So everybody just melt together and they just split the class from A to L and M to Z. I was in the latter half of the class because my name is W, right? Now those people, I don't see them once we started the first semester, because they would have gone to Sunday and I would have been during the week. But yeah, in terms of demographics, most people are 25. You have people 25 going up, and maybe there are persons younger than that too. But yeah, these are people from different industries. You have telecommunications, you have water, you have banking, you have finance, like anything you can think about, those people are in the class, right? And these people are usually not just regular employees. These are people who are at higher levels in the companies, right? So either they are high potential individuals. No, not either. They're usually high potential individuals, right? Who have they're contributing great value to their companies. Some of them are being funded by their companies, or some of them just want to advance their lives, right? So the industry is great. There's great opportunity for networking, especially if you're thinking about the future, and the sense where you're saying, you know what, I want to start a business of X sort. So that person in marketing, just make a network with them, and everybody just chill. Let me say that too. Let me just chill, and that has been my experience. You can just talk to anybody, and anybody willing to have a conversation with you, find out who you are, what you're doing, that type of thing, and then just collect people number and yeah, add value to them, and they will add value to you just the same. Classmates are supportive. I've tried my best to be supportive, especially with the maths that some people are having a challenge with. So yeah, people just work together. That has been my experience. Maybe it may be different for somebody else, but we have like a group that we work with, and everybody just chill. So that has been good. So balancing work, yeah, it's more. I would have addressed that earlier. It's just a matter of we learned about Notebook LM2, and ChatGPT became my best friend because, especially with the maths practice, so I use a method of taking the teacher's questions, running it in chat, and asking chat to generate similar questions for me. And I use that to practice. When I was prepping for ethics, I just put the slides into chat and then summarize the main points. Sometimes I ask it to generate a quiz too before the class. So I ask it to summarize the main points. After I read through those main points, I ask chat to generate a quiz of the slides, and I go through and I select, and it correct me, it give me notes and whatnot. So when I go to the class, I'd be a little more prepared for whatever is going to be spoken about. So yeah, chat became my best friend. For HRM, which is SHRM, Strategic Human Resource Management, we're allowed to use AI a lot more than other courses, because the simple reason that they're saying AI is changing the scope of things, and as managers, we need to be prepared for that and how to use it ethically and the works. So we're allowed to use it in our drafts, but we have to state how we use it and such. So yeah, that's AI. Study. We usually study after class. Well, the group of us, we usually just stay back a few minutes after, not a few minutes, sometime an hour or 2 hours after class, and study. Like, read over the notes that we got. If somebody has a question that's in the group, I think there are 4 of us or 5 of us in the group. And if somebody have a question, we talk about life, we talk about work, and that type of thing. Yeah. So now, I'm at the end of the first semester. We had our last class on Monday last week, which would have been December the 1st. And we have our test for math. The last class was math. We have our test for math coming up this week, Monday. So today is Saturday, when I'm recording this. I have quantitative stats for manager, what's the course name? Quantitative method and statistical techniques for managers. Yeah, so that's coming up on Monday. And then the week after, we have strategic human resource management. So yeah, hopefully I can give you guys an update when the second semester ends and when the third semester ends and all of them. All right, so yeah, I hope this would have helped somebody, because I really would have wanted something like this when I was considering doing my own program. I can't say that I will do many other videos of different sort, but let's see what the future holds. This is just to help somebody. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. All the best.